Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to talk about drugs and kind of more just marijuana in general, but and the kind of the effects of a lot of drugs. But one thing I've always kind of noticed is people talk about how they have a bad experience with marijuana or some kind of drug, and that kind of it really puts a damper on that person's perspective on a certain substance. But the thing I wanted to point out is I believe that a lot of the effects that people feel when they take a drug is has a lot to do with the mental state that they're in. Not that they're like crazy or have some kind of mental disability. It's just whether or not they're nervous or a little apprehensive to taking a certain drug. Um, Now I've smoked marijuana since I was about a sophomore in high school, and I've never done any other type of drug besides marijuana, except for salvia, and I'll get to that a little bit later. But I was the same as a lot of kids back then. I took the DARE program when I was in elementary school, and I got I was taught the fears or whatever the bad things about a lot of different drugs, and as I got older and I got into a more mature environment, I started to realize that a lot of the stuff that that program was teaching me was just complete bullshit, and I really took offense to that because it just seemed like the whole DARE program was just to kind of to brainwash kids and to trick them into being or to scare them into not trying this, which is I guess is okay, but at the same time it's I'd rather be just told the true facts about something rather than being scared and being lied to. But yeah, so I've smoked weed since I was about a sophomore, and I tried it for the first time when I was a sophomore because I played football, and that was a real reason why I didn't smoke for till I was a sophomore is because I cared about football, and I just didn't want it to interfere. I didn't know if it would or not, but I just didn't want to risk it interfering with my play or my status as a football player. And that was until I tore both my ACLs, and I kind of just said, "Fuck it," I don't really have to deal with it anymore. But the first time I smoked marijuana, I was, I was excited. I wanted to try it, and I feel like that is really the main reason why I feel the way I do about marijuana today. Um, I feel that the way a person feels about taking a drug is greatly going to influence how it affects them, and it can be whether nervous or whether they have some kind of mental disability or something like that. But the first time I ever tried it, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I really believe it was because I wanted to try it. And I'm sure, and if I tried it and I didn't like it, then I just didn't like it. But I hear people talking about the first time they smoked weed and they had fucking freaked out or something or they hallucinated. And if somebody tells you, just for the record, if somebody tells you that they've ever smoked marijuana and they hallucinated, they're either lying their asses off or they smoked something else. It was laced with something because marijuana does not cause visual or auditory hallucinations. So I just wanted to put that out there. But the thing is yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think it was mainly due to the fact that I wanted to try it because I have three brothers, two of which also smoke weed, and one of them that doesn't. And the one that doesn't, he's always been pretty apprehensive towards it. He's never really had the desire to ever try it. He has tried it once though, and that's kind of where this whole video kind of came into birth is because his experience was something when I heard about it, I was completely shocked that he even felt this way. I guess what happened is he used to live with my oldest brother who smoked weed since he was in high school. He's almost 30 now, but yeah, he's smoked weed for a long time. And don't he's a good guy. He works at a bank. He's not some lazy ass stoner. But so that's another misconception that get kind of put to rest right there. But um, he really kind of peer pressured my brother into trying weed for the first time, and I wasn't there. But my brother, or both my brothers, my oldest brother's girlfriend and his other roommate were all there, and they told me what happened was my brother was pretty nervous about it. He didn't want to try it necessarily, and he took a hit out of a bong, which is stupid. He took an extremely large hit off of a bong, and he had a rough experience. Apparently, he thought he was stuck inside of a TV or some shit like that. I don't know, but you know, I was so surprised because I have never heard of somebody reacting like that to marijuana, and and I really think that it was because of his mental state and the way that he consumed it. He was very nervous to try it, and that doesn't bode well for anything. And then for him to to be the first time he smoked marijuana, and he taking so much at one time, he got way too high for the first time, and it really ruined his perspective about it, and his perception about it. And I really think that he didn't give it a fair chance because he was so nervous. If he had calmed down a little bit, and gotten to a point where he was comfortable trying it, and then maybe rather smoked out of a joint or some kind of a pipe or something rather than a bong, he would feel completely different about it. And he would have had a very different experience with weed than he did. And it sucks because he gives me and all my other brothers shit for smoking it, and we're all fine. Like, we don't act differently around anybody when we're high, and it hasn't had any long-term effects, and it hasn't made us freak out at all or anything like that. And so, and that's how it is, I feel, with a lot of drugs. So when I smoked salvia for the first time, I've only smoked it once, but the one time I did it, I was extremely nervous about it because I knew it makes you hallucinate, and I've never hallucinated, and I've heard that it's potent and it makes you really see some crazy shit, and I've never experienced anything like that. So when I was trying it for the first time, I was very nervous, and I had the bowl in my hand, and I was about to hit it, and I was too nervous. My heart was beating extremely fast, and I was anxious, and I let myself calm down a little bit, get into a calmer state, and then I tried it, and it was awesome. It was a cool experience. I'd definitely do it again. Not something I'd really I do every single day or every night like regular marijuana, but it's something I definitely try again. It's an experience. I'm glad I experienced it. It's something that I'm really proud of trying because it was just such a surreal, different feeling that I felt, and that's how it is with a lot of drugs. It's especially hallucinogens like that. Somebody who takes LSD willingly and knows the effects of it is going to have a completely different experience from somebody who hasn't slipped in their drink. When the person who is handed LSD and is told what it is, when they start see my face melting off, then they're going to know, like, oh, okay, maybe this is the LSD finally kicking in. But when the person who had it slipped in their drink starts seeing my face melting off, they're going to start freaking the fuck out because they have no idea what's happening. They didn't know that they were given a drug. And like I said, and that's where the mental state part comes in, is the way a person feels at the time of their consumption is, I believe, is going to greatly affect how how it affects, is going to greatly influence how it affects them. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little jumbled with my words here, but yeah, I think that's a very big factor in the drug community, is the people uh, that are in Congress right now or something and talking about marijuana. A lot of them probably haven't even tried it, so that's one thing. But then maybe the people who have tried it and have had a bad experience with it, I don't believe it's a fair perception because they were, those type of people who are in Congress are probably the type of people who are really apprehensive towards that kind of experience. And I feel like it just gives a very false perception of marijuana and what it actually does. And I feel like if more people were just accepting of it and knew and would just try it if they wanted to, I believe way more people, and it would probably be legal by now if that was the case, but I just believe way more people would definitely um, they would definitely feel different about it. Because I have a friend too who also smoked. He doesn't do it anymore because he had a bad experience. I didn't know because he did it a long time ago and I didn't know him when he did it. But I want to know what the bad experience was, and it was obviously because, and I really think it was because he was nervous about it, and he gives me shit all the time for smoking, and I don't even listen to him anymore because he's just biased towards that. And I feel like if he were to try it again, if I were to convince him to do it, he'd have a very different experience. Especially, and that's another thing, the people that you're around. If you're around friends, if you're around your good buddies, and they're helping you through it, man, and they're just doing everything, it's gonna be a fun time. It really will. And rather than you being around random people at some place you've never been to, and then you're high off your ass, you're gonna be freaking out. So if you're around the people too, I think it's a very different feeling. And like I said, I'm not one, like, marijuana is probably the only drug that I'll ever be taking. But and I mean, I want to be a cop, and I know that sounds hypocritical to a lot of you, but no, I don't believe it is because um, weed to me is a moral issue, not a legal one. So, me being a cop, I'm not going to smoke weed when I am a cop. I'm not retarded. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to do something like that. But I won't have the same mentality that a lot of people will have towards it. If I bust somebody when I'm a police officer with weed, I'm probably going to be way easier on them because I know how it really is, and I know what it does to people, and I know that it's not really that big of a deal. So yeah, that's my whole perception on that. And to all you marijuana lovers out there, I'd really like to hear some of your feedback on this. And yeah, just hit me back with some comments and let me know how you feel about that, and let me know if you agree with me or if you don't. So thanks a lot.